Hey everyone, I wanted to do a video today about random stuff that has happened the past week or so. I've been so busy with work, I feel like I haven't posted a video in a little while and haven't been editing as much as I did when I didn't have a job. I just want to share these little moments that I've documented, like this one time me and Kat went on a walk for the first time, the Bondi to Coogee walk, and didn't wear sunscreen, was wearing too much clothes. Kat was like wearing a sweater. How are you feeling in your sweater? So essentially we're adjusting to Australia lifestyle and also embracing the opportunities that have come along so far. One thing I haven't shared with you yet is when me and Kat took the bus the wrong way. We were out exploring one day when we were still kind of going around different neighborhoods and thought we'd grab a bottle of wine. Somehow ended up in DY, and I looked on my map and I was like, how did we end up over here? So we got off the bus, had to wait so long to take the bus the correct way. And then I bought these nerds because I was like, oh my God, I haven't had these in so long. I was so excited to eat them. And then I had this paper bag on the bus. And when I realized we had to get off, I dropped them everywhere. And what I had left, I dropped again on the street when we were finally going home. So we got a lot better at navigating. But I swear when you're on the bus here, it just zooms past the stops because it doesn't stop at every stop. So you really have to pay attention. Okay, my next story I'm going to share is when me and my roommate randomly worked at a bar for 3 hours. So we went to this bar the night before and had a few drinks. We're like, oh my gosh, this place is so fun. We should totally work here. Meanwhile, I already have a job, but I feel like everywhere I go, I'm like, are you hiring? So the next day, we bring our resumes in. It's like 6 p.m. The bartender goes, do you want to work right now? And we're like, okay, yeah, sure. So we do a trial shift. They don't take any of our information. I was like, why not? And I've always been the type of person to never be good at working in food service, have never tried working in a bar. I was like, why not? I'm in a new country. Let me try it. About 30 minutes in, me and Claire looked at each other and we're like, how do you feel? And yeah, it was just not for us. So we stayed for 3 hours. And then finally I was like, okay, can we go home? We did end up getting paid for the 3 hours. It was great. It was fun. I lived a different life, for that time. This was very as soon as we got there, they were like, okay, this is how you wash the glasses. This is where you get the ice. They were like, yeah, okay, you're working here right now. I was like, I'll just return as a regular maybe. I realized that I wanted to work at a bar because it was fun socializing with people at a bar. So then I was like, why don't I just go to a bar? So anyway, I'm glad that I kind of humbled myself in that way. But yeah, that's just kind of how things go here. And actually, my favorite podcast read my DM about it because they have this ongoing bit about Long Island iced teas. And so they played this.
I get another DM.
Yeah.
Long Island iced tea emergency, all capitals. I'm on a working holiday visa in Australia. Today I went into a nice bar to give them my resume. They immediately were like, do you want to work right now? Which
That's a bad sign.
which this person says didn't even take my resume. This should have been my first warning sign of what was about to occur. I'm in the middle of my 3-hour, quotes, trial shift, and the bartender slips me and my roommate from Denmark, who is also doing the trial, a drink and says, try this, like he was so proud of the drink he concocted. It was light green and tasted delicious. And the words that came out of my mouth, my roommate's mouth, shocked me. He said it's a Long Island iced tea. My jaw dropped, and then I thought of you. Safe to say, I will only be returning to this bar as a customer.
Why even that, actually? Why would you even walk in there, girl? No, walk around I would avoid even walking past the storefront.
But just imagine being like, here's a little pick me up while you're doing your shift and taste this drink that I concocted and it's just a Long Island iced tea.
I also love that she's in Australia and she's with someone from Denmark. I mean, how far is this podcast reaching? Who was seated next to her? James Bond? Where are these people writing in from?
When she's like, I'm trying to get a job at me and my roommate are sidling up to the bar with our little resumes, trying to get a job. And it's isn't that the plot of Coyote Ugly? She goes into the bar and the manager's like, what do you want to do right now? Let's go. And then she throws her up on the bar. Right?
Another fun adventure we've recently had is this boat day that we did. So Kat has this friend that she met when she was in South America, and he was kind enough to invite us on his boat and meet his friends, and it was just a super fun day. So if you don't know, I have a huge fear of water, like open water, any deep water. I didn't swim in the ocean from 7th grade until I was an adult 2 years ago, just because of like a scary incident that happened with getting drifted out in the ocean and being stung by a jellyfish. So this is a fear I've been trying to get over. But this day definitely just made me, no pun intended, jump right in. Yes. So we go out on this boat and we say, hey, yeah, like we would love to see kangaroos. And Kat's friend says, say no more. We'll take you to see kangaroos.
But you won't share it with me?
Okay, excuse me, I'm trying to take a video.
I grabbed that whole thing. I was like, I can't do that.
Oh, the sail's not up.
We are all sailing right now.
We're boating up the, beautiful coast. We go over to this little park and they go, oh yeah, so we'll just like swim. And like, I just met these people. I wasn't going to say this out loud, but in my head, I'm thinking, is that a joke? And I'm thinking through the logistics. Like, so we're just going to get in our bathing suits, like not have towels or clothes or a phone. We're just going to jump out of the boat, swim to the land, and then walk around there and see the kangaroos. So I just wasn't processing, but nobody else seemed to think that was bizarre because these people had grown up in Australia. And then I'm looking around like, can anyone pick us up? Like, I would have rather, I think, taken the boat back, gotten on a bus to the ferry that dropped us off at the dock. I also saw these guys on this like little floaty boat nearby. I was like thinking, could I ask them to pick me up so I could just jump and hop in there? So I actually wasn't going to do it. And then, Kat's like, no, you have to. And then I saw these jellyfish and she was like, no, they don't sting. And I'm like, how do you know that? But anyway, I was like, whatever, I'm going to jump in. So everyone jumps in. They're swimming so fast. And I'm just swimming. Like, yes, I'm freaking out. I kind of felt bad because I was freaking out. But I was just going and going. And finally, like, we get to the seaweed. It's like very slimy. It's disgusting. I was like, how far was that? And they were saying meters, and I don't know what that is. And they tried to estimate it as 60 feet. I don't really know if it was that far, but regardless, it is further than I have ever swam in ocean water. They also didn't really tell me that there are stingrays where the seaweed is when you're walking out until we were going to go back in. But we did see a tiny little baby kangaroo. Of course, I do not have footage of this because I didn't have my phone because I went by ocean to get there. But it was very cute. I fed it some bread. It just kind of kept hopping away. I can't even fathom. I mean, seeing it for the first time is crazy. I'm just going to put this picture here so you can just visualize what I visualized. I don't know. It's just amazing. And I know there's people who think like deer are scary here, or like in Australia, they don't see deer a lot. And that's something I see all the time. And this is like their version of deer. So it was a cool experience. Then we had to walk back into the cold water and swim back. And at this point, my skin was crawling, so I'm just swimming so hard. Water's just diving into my mouth, and like the waves were getting huge. But I made it back onto the boat, and we had eaten right before this, so I thought I was going to vomit up my chicken sandwich. But anyway, yeah, overall it was a great day. Yeah. And then, right before we made it to the boat, Kat did get stung by a jellyfish. So that was a little bit scary. She gets on the boat and she's like, I'm stung by a jellyfish. And nobody even batted an eyelash. Everyone was just like, haha, oh yeah. But she was okay. Luckily, we put some white vinegar on it when we got home. So she is all good there. That night, I was like, okay, it's time to try Vegemite because someone from the boat told us how to eat it. They said you get bread, a lot of butter, pea-sized amount of Vegemite just to see if you like it.
Who wants to take the first bite? How do I hurt somebody?
So at first I was like going strong. I actually really like this. It's good. And then I was like, let me add a little bit more. And then I was like, yeah, I don't know. I feel sick again, but everything makes me feel sick.
I don't think I even ate it.
Oh my God, no more. Wait, is this more than a piece?
What are you doing? I don't mind it.
Not
Then we also want to try different chocolate that night. So here I am picking out like 3 different kinds of chocolate bars, and 2 of them are like I get them in America. But I will say the chocolate does taste different, and I'm gonna do a whole other video on food because there's a lot that goes into that. Okay, moving right along. So the other day we went to Watson's Bay to see the lighthouse. We took the ferry to CBD, then took another ferry to Watson's Bay. I feel like this was just a day. We had about 15 minutes to find a burrito before the second ferry, and I got one within 10 seconds to spare. Look how gorgeous it is here. We loved it as soon as we got off the ferry. We checked out this map to see how to get to the lighthouse, but didn't absorb any information and just took a guess. I saw this bar and I was like, wait, I kind of just want to go sit and have a mimosa, but we just kept walking. Here we are guessing again which way to go. No. And we guessed wrong, so we had to turn around. Kat and Clara took some photos on this thing that I couldn't get to because my legs are way too short. Oh my gosh. Why you just walk? Kat asked this guy to take pics of us with this view, and the picture didn't really turn out that great, but the effort was there, so it was appreciated. Then she started talking to his brother, who he was FaceTiming at the time.
Yep, you too. Bye.
Thank you.
The one thing people don't tell you about, out of all bugs that you should worry about in Sydney, is the flies. They've been so irritating. They won't leave me alone. It's actually so frustrating.
Oh my god.
Okay, so we stopped to take some more pictures. This is how Kat's turned out. This is how mine turned out. Then we stopped to do some gymnastics that we've been working on.
Clara, wait, do it again. It's a cool video.
Then we saw all these birds posting up, so we were like, let's keep it moving. But Kat just couldn't help herself. She was like, wait, look at these rocks I have to climb on. Okay, so then we finally got to the lighthouse, which we looked at for 2 seconds and just kept walking. I don't know if it's always behind this fence, but every time I go to see something, I swear it's under construction, like when I went to see Big Ben in London. And I actually enjoyed everything else along the way. I don't think the lighthouse was like the star of the show, although of course it was beautiful. I just liked everything else as well. We headed back to the ferry and look at this big ass bird. Okay, allegedly it's a pelican, but you guys look at it. It didn't even look real in person. Like you just have to keep looking at it. Like what? Look at its head, look at its eyes. I can't believe that's just like normal for people to see here. We had some time to kill, so we went to this little bar to hide away from any more birds, and I got this mimosa. And this was only $10. I asked if the ferry is hiring, and they actually said yes, they are. We were feeling a little bit tipsy from our drinks, so I took these selfies, and then we went to the library, and then we went to this beach. Okay, so my last update for you is getting my coworker who just got a new car to drive me to Macca's after work. I got the McCrispy because it was all over the menu and it was so much better than a McDonald's sandwich in the US. It tasted like actual real food, which it should because it cost $8. But this froke was only $2. Shout out Jen Gang. So I made my coworker say froke instead of frozen Coke.
Are you scared?
Hi.
Hi, can I please have a big crispy burger and a frozen Coke? This is really awkward.
Okay,
Hi, can I please have a big crispy burger and a Coke?
And a Coke, you said?
Yeah,
Frozen.
a frozen, please.
Frozen Coke, yep. Well, good. So just burger and then frozen Coke, just $10.65.
Okay, thank you.
That's all for today. Bye.